particularly when just around selecting of the Hayden mango. So as I mentioned, you're looking for color, you're looking for odor, and you're looking for touch, and you're just making sure that there's no indentations. So again, you get the maximum amount of fruit that you could possibly get. I'm going to take you over after, we're going to cut it open, and I'll show you how to kind of cut it and prepare it. But before we do that, we'll talk about the Altufo variety. So Altufo variety is a different variety. Most mangoes are going to come from, you're going to get them from Mexico, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. That's generally the growing area. These mangoes right now are coming from Mexico, but again, you'll get some different growing regions, but in and around the equator is typically where we're getting them from. These were actually designed to be a sweeter, more condensed amount of sugar in a smaller package, champagne or Altufos. What you're going to find with these are they typically come off the plant with more of a yellow golden color. They're not going to have that greenness to them. So an underripe Altufo really only has a little bit of green shading to it. A fully ripe, really it's just kind of continued the coloring process through to golden yellow. So it's a smaller mango overall, however, bigger flavor pop. So you get less sour, more sugar, higher sugar content. You're gonna grab a ton of vitamin C and a ton of dietary fiber. Those are the two kind of big things that you get from mangoes, and why it's kind of a great thing to add into your diet. And with growing regions and farm practices improving, really mangoes are available all year long, but their peak season is really right now. And the prices tend to be as favorable as possible. These are $2 a piece right now. Same thing actually with the Haydens, they're both $2 a piece right now. So really strong pricing for us. With regards to handling, it's almost the identical process. Again, you want to watch the skin of the mango, particularly to make sure that it's free of wrinkles and blemishes and sunspots or temperature spots. The smoother the color, the better. And again, bringing these items home and handling them, be as delicate as possible. My recommendation is that you do not place them in the fridge. So they're not meant to be a fridge item. They can hold up very, very well at room temperature or regular temperature. Remember, they're a tropical item. It means they're used to being grown in plus 25, 30 degree weather. That's what they're used to. They're not used to being put into cold circumstances. So when you do actually start putting them in the fridge, it doesn't necessarily slow down the ripening process. It actually fights against the natural sugar creation, and you'll find that it changes the consistency of the fruit. Oftentimes, it'll darken the color of the fruit and it'll darken the skin. Ripening technique on mangoes, same thing as avocados. If you put them with other items that omit that wonderful natural gas that ripens, they will ripen quicker than left to do it on their own. So if you want a mango to ripen quickly, my recommendation, you get a brown paper bag or a burlap bag if you have one at home. You put a tomato, a banana, and your mangoes, your avocados, whatever it is, inside that bag. Close it, kind of squeeze it up, close it tight. The gas will naturally ripen that fruit really quick. We've seen it happen as fast as 12 to 24 hours that you start to see that color and that sweetness start to just explode really, really quick. So that's a little tip. If you are having a party and you have the fruit already and you're like, oh, my mangoes haven't ripened quick enough for my salsa, throw it in a brown paper bag with a tomato, banana. They omit a certain type of gas that helps ripen the product. And likewise, if you don't want your mango to ripen too quickly, remove it from any of those other items that could cause it to ripen more quickly. Tons of different ways to prep a mango, but there's kind of a most favorite one. With regards to mango, I spent some time when I was in high school in Mexico on an exchange living with a Mexican family, and the way that I was taught how to eat a mango, when you really want to eat a mango, was to actually put a really strong fork in the bottom of it, peel it back and eat it like it was a popsicle or a lollipop, and we would literally just sit there and eat the whole mango right down to the core. You gotta get messy with the mango a little bit. So there's a way to cut it to get the majority of the usable fruit, but we'll notice that once we do cut it, a lot of the usable fruit or the rest of the fruit or the flesh around the seed really sticks to it, has some stringiness to it. It's just the way that it grows. Ultimately, you do kind of get in there and start to eat it quite well. What you want to do is you want to line up your mango so that it is vertical in front of you, okay? The seed of a mango grows with regards in the same shape as the mango. So the seed is an oval and it's going to be in the middle of here, going kind of in this long oval way. So the fruit that you're going to get is, you got to think about it kind of like as you would, I use it as you would prepare a whole chicken. If you're going to get the breast meat off a whole chicken or a turkey, you normally take it down against the bone. You get the one side and then you do the same on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run our knife through. Okay, we're going to find the bone and we're just going to continue to kind of go along the edge of the bone, all the way to the bottom, and then we're gonna take it off, okay? So you can see we got the knife really close to the bone, which is great. We got as much usable fruit as we could. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, okay? This time we have kind of a starting point. And this seed has a little bit of size to it. Okay, now we've got two main sides. You can take off the edge here. Okay, I'm a little bit too close on that. So this is where I said there is some flesh and some yummy stuff around the outside of the seed. It really is stuck. You can tell that it's got a little bit of, it's kind of fibrous or really fibrous. To eat that, just start eating it. Just eat it as it is. Get messy, enjoy it. Otherwise, there's really no way to use that fruit. With regards to the actual fruit that you have to eat, again, you've got two styles. So you've got the little two side pieces, which you can just use your paring knife again. The skin is really thin. You don't need to overdo the thin. And you've got a beautiful little piece. You can cube it, you can dice it. Same thing on that guy. You just want to take the butt off. Okay. Nice way to kind of get the fruit out is to use it kind of like a fruit bowl. What you do is you run your knife right through it. Okay. Now, just being very sensitive to your hand. Okay. You don't want to go through, but people love doing it like this. So you run your knife right through, and then once you've done that, you can actually pop your fruit through, and it's a really nice, easy way to take off all these nice little cubes. So before you start dicing it up for your mango salsa, or if you're just cubing up for a fruit tray, if you were making a fruit tray and you wanted to make sure that the pieces were maybe larger so they could be used with a fork, you would just cut your pieces a little bit wider. Okay, and that would just end up getting you, again, let's get this going there. You get larger pieces that you could actually kind of put on a fruit platter, and they could peel out that way. Okay, but again, if you were looking to eat the whole mango for just yourself, you would shove a fork down the bottom, grab your paring knife, peel back your layers, and go to town. The El Tufo mango, very, very similar. Okay, again, the seed grows vertical to the way that the fruit grows. So you want to position it so that when you're cutting it, so that you're going down and around the seed. If you try and cut this way, what'll end up happening is you won't be able to get as much of the usable fruit, and it actually starts to, it's a hard cut. You'll notice that your knife doesn't smoothly go through the fruit. It starts to experience some resistance. So again, when you're preparing to cut your mango, you take your paring knife right through. As soon as you feel that you're kind of on the side of the seed, you just kind of run your knife along the side, and again, you've brought yourself from the top of the seed all the way down. As soon as you feel that little bit of tension on the knife, that's kind of where you start to go. So you can see at the right top here, I'm not too happy, I'm feeling it. Kind of come around it, hold onto the fruit nicely, firmly, and you run your knife through. And then again, same thing with this mango. You go ahead, you run down. This guy doesn't have as much side. I can feel that the seed is actually right there near the edge. So there's not a ton of fruit that I can get off the side of this guy.